My name is Jami Brandli, and I wrote The Magician's Sister. I write about messy, determined women.
Play has moments of magic in it, staged and storytelling magic. And for people who have not yet read this fabulous winning play, which rose from more than 270 plays submitted for the Jane Chambers contest, the play, seems ostensibly to center two sisters and their relationship. And it morphs and twists across time and their lives. And then there are these almost bubbling up interventions, but they're not interventions. They're more like inspirations. It seems of these historic female magicians. And so history is moving in and out, as well as family history.
I wanted to write a play about sisters, and that I wanted to write about female magicians. And as I said in my acceptance speech, that I knew nothing about female magicians, but I was given the opportunity last year, a little over a year ago, when Luis Alfaro he invited me to the Center Theater Group's playwright group, and it wasn't a commissioned play. It was part of a cohort with 10 female playwrights, which was really interesting and awesome. And he basically said, I want you to challenge yourself, each and every one of you. And I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into something that I know nothing about. I have a year to complete this. And I went deep. I went deep into this history, and it's really, really fascinating. And so what started to come out of my research was, I was like, wow, there are quite a few female magicians, starting like 120 to 150 years ago, but mainly focusing in the late 1800s and the early 1900s. A lot of female magicians that I never heard of. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I've never heard of these. The more that I researched, the more I became fascinated by the female magicians who are escape artists, because these women basically risk their lives night after night to perform something that is like, ordinary. Here's an ordinary milk can, or here's an ordinary whiskey barrel, or here's an ordinary straitjacket. And I'm going to make this extraordinary and escape from it. And then I'm going to astound you. And so that's sort of like the journey that a magician has to go through, and to bring the audience along. The female magicians, especially this one magician, Minerva, who is highlighted the most in my play. Minerva, she was so good that she became Houdini's rival, and Houdini didn't like her because she was just as good, if not better, than him at certain tricks, especially the milk can trick. But what she needed to do was publicity stunts to get people to come to her shows. So she would go to a bridge over a large body of water. She would wait till a crowd gathered. She'd stand there. She'd handcuff herself. The police would come. This is like in the early 1900s. And just as the police were about to arrest her, she'd jump off the bridge and then swim away. I'm writing plays for people who go to the theater and want to experience narratives that they wouldn't necessarily experience in a traditionally curated season of theater. Is that right? But I'm not trying, it's for everyone. I want everyone to come and see my plays. I want them to be like, oh, wow, this is a really interesting story. Like The Magician's Sister, learning about the history of some female magicians, and them going, oh, wow, this is a really great story. And I learned something. How awesome is that? And I'm trying to really dig into the theatricality of my plays to make you feel like you're coming to see a play versus a sitcom on stage. I'm not a fan of that. You know what I mean? Like this is a play. You're coming to see a play, and you're going to see some theatricality, and you're gonna come away being like, wow, that's the only way I can experience the story is on the stage.
Any challenges or tips for those who might want to stay or engage this play in particular?
I was part of the Kennedy Center playwright intensive like a long time ago. And one of my instructors, Gary Garrison, who's a wonderful educator and playwright, gave us this writing exercise for the impossible stage direction. And I love the impossible stage direction because that's just theatricality in and of itself. So I would say that the final one, the final moment of the play is an impossible stage direction that can be done.
You said for Magician's Sister, it was really important to you to stay to a cast of 4.
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Why a cast of 4? Well, because just the reality of theater right now, and the more actors you have, the more it's going to cost the theater to produce. I want to keep budgets reasonable, but I also love the challenge of double, triple, quadruple casting in a way that makes it feel organic. Like I'm not just doing it. Like there's a reason for why I am double casting or triple casting this actor to play all of the male characters and this woman to play all of the additional female characters. I love that challenge. Absolutely love it. It's fun.
And that shines in this play, that it's not only a tension, it's a high theatricality between the intimate and the epic, and the way that the form foregrounds themes and cycles and possibilities. It's part of the magic of the storytelling.
The way that I look at my profession and my vocation is I get to bring to life female characters who are messy and determined. And there aren't just like 10 stories that have messy, determined females. There are many. And I feel like that is what I love doing, and that is what I will continue to do. That's not to say that I won't write plays that have like male protagonists. Of course I will, but I constantly am gravitated towards this kind of female, and the possibilities are endless with that character, that kind of character. I had to really look deep inside of me as a person. So there's the sister who is the researcher and wants a stable life. There is the magician who will do everything she possibly can to be the best. How do you put both of those things together in one life? And I feel like that is the constant struggle that I have. And I feel like a lot of my friends who are women who write constantly have that struggle of, how do I find the magic act of balancing home and art? Because you want to be the best, but you also have to be present at home. And how do you do that? And it is a constant balancing act for me. And I feel like, and for women who don't want to be the best at something and will risk everything to be the best at something, their lives are just as important as the women who do risk it. So I wanted to somehow marry that with sisters, which for me is like, makes the most sense. You're going in one direction and you're going in another, but you love each other and you want to support each other. And then there's all the friction and wonderful surprises of love in the middle of that. So I think the challenge, not only, going deep into the research of a topic that I didn't know much about, but going deep inside of me. I feel pretty confident that this play will have a life. You know, it's, as everybody knows, it's hard times in the theater world, but I feel like, you know, with determination, this will get done. But I feel like it's getting, obviously it's getting traction. Like the fact that it won the Jane Chambers, I was like, I had to read that email like 3 times, and I was like, is this really happening? This is amazing. And then the other award, and then like the development in Utah, I was like, what's happening? Right. So you just don't know. Sometimes you just don't know when you're writing a play. Anytime you write a play, especially if it's not like commissioned and it's guaranteed a production, it's a risk. You don't know what's going to happen. Just don't know. And I'm feeling very fortunate and blessed that it's getting attention, and I feel good about it. I'm really thankful to Luis Alfaro, the Center Theater Group, and my cohort of badass female playwrights for all of their, just like every other week we would meet on Zoom. Every other Saturday we would meet on Zoom, and we would, talk about life and read pages. And everybody, it felt like we were all just sort of like swimming in the dark. What is happening? When is COVID going to be over? We're really going to have a reading series at the Kirk Douglas in September? Is this really happening? And it did. And it was amazing. And just the support and the encouragement, and Luis just being a wonderful mentor of just being like, you know what? Just trust in the process.
That's so perfect. And it brings me to my last. It's kind of a game.
Okay.
In 10 words or less,
Oh gosh.
can you distill this play? Need not be a sentence at all.
Okay. 10 words or less. I don't know about 10 words or less, but I will say the play is about sisters, family, the pursuit of being the best, magic, and exposing parts of history, specifically female magicians, who have fallen under the radar.